I am just celebrating the music. Thank you, Max Caselli, for awesome sound. Yeah.
It really does. He does bring the beat. He brings the bass in this.
He does.
The bass.
He does. He does. He's
awesome.
He's amazing.
He is amazing. The amazing Max Caselli, who, and I'm still calling this the Ballad of the Brother Sisters, even though it's not a ballad, until I find or hear something better. So, there you go.
We can call it whatever we want, Jenny. We paid for it.
Exactly. I 100% agree with that. And I think it's ironic to call it a ballad, too, because it's anything but.
Exactly.
So,
it's the type of ballad that you and I can appreciate.
Yeah. That's right. I like what you've done there. I love it.
Yeah.
Yes. So, and brothers, here we are on a Sunday. We've had a very spirited week. So,
yeah. I have not stopped moving since we got back. I'm like I need a break.
Nor I. So yeah, just hi kitten. With us today we have a special guest, Marla the cat, who is headbutting me as we speak because she's hungry. It is after 6, which is well past her dinner time, and it's been like 9 hours since she had breakfast. So
poor baby.
She's had plenty of crunchy food in the meantime. So yes, if you hear a strange meowing in the background, it's because Marla the cat is with us, because that's what she does. She's very shy, except she can't tell that she's on TV, so that works out for everybody.
Yeah, I was gonna say she doesn't even like when I look at her. So yeah, the fact that she has agreed to be on our podcast speaks volumes to her her generosity.
Her generosity and how much she wants her dinner. So let's be honest, because that's what this is really about.
It is.
Yeah, so here we are, you guys. Like I said, we're going to talk about our Spirited Week. We have been in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. We were there from Monday. We left Monday morning. We worked our way up north, and then we, of course, did some Yooperlite hunting. Now we're home. They got a busy week ahead of time. That's all I know. So yeah, exciting week. Let's talk about that, shall we?
Yes.
All right.
Let's
jump in. Let's jump in. I'm going to go ahead and drop this on the stage here. That's right, you guys. This is our second in our series of Yooperlites. This is part 2 of 2 on our Yooperlite hunting expedition, at least until next year, because we like to talk about this a lot because it's super fun and interesting. So there you go. Anne, would you like to welcome our listeners and give them the synopsis of who we are and what we are doing?
I would be happy to. We are Anne and Janice Brothers, and our last name is Brothers, and we are sisters. It's that easy. Don't overthink it. We're in our 50s, Generation X, which means our parents, not in 1 million years, would have wasted, quote unquote, a weekend on travel sports.
Yeah,
Can you imagine Mike and Cynthia doing that? That's hilarious.
No, especially Dad, because he worked all the time. He was always working. So yeah, and it was kind of a rare thing that even when I played baseball, like I think about my summer nights playing baseball, it was rare that my parents made it to a game, or they might come for a couple of innings, either towards the end of the game or towards the beginning. But yeah, my parents, and they certainly didn't sit through practice because nobody watched practice. Nobody did that.
Yeah. I used to go to all of Jenny's games when she played baseball because there was nothing else to do. And I thought a lot of the boys on her team were cute. So that's what I was into. All right. So we talk about smart stuff, dumb stuff, fun stuff, or any combination of the three. We are not cool, hip, or sexy. And we know this because we plan our vacations on where to rock hunt. And you know this because this is our 3rd show about Yooperlites.
True statement.
We're not a celebrity influencer or true crime podcast. We're the Ted Lasso of podcasts. Sometimes we get the feels. We are great to listen to when you want to learn things about stuff and because politics has gotten real thick and heavy and you deserve a break. Oof. This podcast is not G, PG, or even PG-13 because today we're talking about rocks. Fuck yeah. Join us on our website, Spotify, Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, and Amazon Music. Like us, follow us, hit the bell, and leave us a review. Give us your feedback with our Q&A, questions and answers, and our polls. And, you can ask your friend Alexa to play us because she's our friend too, and she will do it.
That's right. And she'll remember. She'll remember that you
Mhm.
like it and put it on
Mhm.
your queue.
Mhm.
That sort of thing. Actually, Anne, I feel like we're bringing the sexy to rock hunting. We are
Oh,
bringing the sexy to rocks.
yeah.
So
Look,
we're
I
going
have
to
my
help people
sexy
get their,
pouch. If you're
that's right. We're
watching
going to help
this,
people
sexy
get their
pouch.
rocks off.
That's
Stupid
what she
Yooper.
said.
Yes,
Ah,
we're dummies. Okay.
mhm,
Yes. So all of those things that Anne said about us are true. So, new listeners, old listeners, now you know. All
mhm.
right. Yes. Remember, you guys, it costs you nothing to support us. All you have to do is like us, subscribe. Spotify, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, anywhere you get your podcasts, you have an opportunity to support us by just hitting that like button, hitting the bell, answering one of our poll questions, something where you're interacting in some way, shape, or form. You don't even have to listen to the show. If you're like, this sucks here, but I want to support my friends, you can like, subscribe, that sort of thing, because that counts too.
It
So there
does.
you go.
It
It
does.
does. It does indeed. All right. Let's talk about the smart, dumb, fun stuff that happened this week. Anne, do you want to start us off or do you want me to
I
start it
did.
off?
I can. I would be happy to.
Do
I
it.
did something. Well, I did tons of fun stuff this week. But since we've already done a bunch of, you know, pictures and other little shorts and reels and stuff on our Facebook page, I thought I would mention something that I think is a fun, and not just this one, but I think 5Ks are fun. It's not like I run the 5Ks. I walk 5Ks, but I think it's a great way to be social with friends without having to drink or eat. And you get a t-shirt. So Jenny and I did the Matawan Wild Cats Road and Trail 5K, and I did that with my sister, and it was super fun. We had a good time. We did not come in last. Thank you very much. We were like 15th from the last, maybe, but it was just fun. It's like we were outside, we were getting some exercise, we were talking. It was just a fun thing to do. And I've done three. This is my third 5K. And my last 5K that I did with some people that I used to teach with. And we had a great time. And I just think that 5Ks, if you're looking for a fun way to spend some time with some people, you do not need to run. I'm talking about a 5K that you walk, not run, because running is not fun. But you get kind of in a group, you're a little loud, you laugh a lot, and then you go do something fun afterwards too, like have a drink or eat something.
Or go to brunch if
Mhm,
that's what you do.
exactly.
Yes. We have Nancy Garman with us. Hi, Nancy Garman. Speaking of Matawan, Nancy, the matron saint of Matawan. That's how I think of you. Newly retired, who is a fellow, just did some Yooperlite hunting last week or the week before. Nicely done, Nancy. You're an expert
Mhm,
Yooperlite hunter right now. So glad to have you with us. And so, yay, that's awesome. Speaking of, so we did this yesterday. You and I, we did the Matawan Road and Trail 5K. Great work, Abby Dunning, and all the volunteers that put that event together.
mhm.
Really great event, nice course, just very well done, fun. Afterwards, we went to the Kalamazoo Farmers Market, which is
Uh-huh.
my smart, dumb, fun thing. Um, I think it's both smart and fun personally.
Mhm,
It's a really great farmers market. Kalamazoo built this market they've always had a farmers market, but this one, I don't know what year they opened this particular farmers market, but it was only within the last couple of years. It's over on Bank Street in Kalamazoo. It is a great space. It's not the biggest farmers market you'll ever see, but I just feel like for the bang for your buck, they do a
mhm,
great job. They've got a large variety of vendors. It's a great space. There's lots of parking available.
mhm,
And it's just a really great vibe as far as farmers markets go. Like you have said, Ann, you said you think it's better than the Ann Arbor Farmers Market. I would not disagree with you.
mhm,
It's just great. A lot of local merchants are there. All the good bakeries are there. Tons of great coffee.
mhm,
There's food trucks. There's the cheese people. I could
mhm,
go on and on. And like I said, there's clothing, there's plants, there's flowers, there's literally you can do a lot of Otto's Chicken is there. You can do a lot of vegetable shopping. You can do a lot of fruit shopping. You can do meat shopping. There's a bunch of different things. And like I said,
mhm,
it's not super huge, but it's a really well done farmers market. Again, you guys, it's located at 1204 Bank Street in Kalamazoo. It's every Saturday from May 4th through October 26th, and it goes from 7 to 1 during those dates. The times change a little bit. So from November 3rd to the 23rd, It's 8 to 1 on Saturdays. There's a Tuesday and Thursday mini markets from June 4th to October 10th from 8 to 1. So you have plenty of opportunity to get your shop on, and I highly recommend it because you're able to support a lot of local growers, and B and vendors, and B, it's in terms of your carbon footprint, this is a great way to decrease your carbon footprint because you're not necessarily buying products that are having to be shipped halfway around the world um, in order to feed you. So think of it as a couple of different ways to do some good and get great. I've been I got a bunch of vegetables and stuff
Mm-hmm.
yesterday, and the peaches I got were amazing. The cherries are amazing. The cucumbers are amazing. I forget what really good tomatoes taste like.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been enjoying the little mini tomatoes that I got yesterday. And again, you're just like, wow, tomatoes are good.
Exactly. I used some of my zucchini today to make a gazpacho. So there you go.
Ooh, yummy.
Hmm.
Gazpacho's good.
Hmm.
So, yeah. So I highly, if you're in the area, if you're anywhere even near, Kalamazoo, come to the farmers market there because it rocks. So there you go. All right, Ann brothers, should we talk about Yooperlites now?
Let's do that, Jenny.
Okay, so we are talking about Yooperlite, and so what we did is a couple weeks ago we did a show where we talked about kind of like what is a Yooperlite, where do you find them, what are they made of, and so a quick review of that. A Yooperlite is a cool rock that glows when you hit it with a long wave UV light. In this case, you're dealing with the rock of what a Yooperlite is. A Yooperlite is actually syenite, which is a type of igneous rock. It looks a lot like quartz just on first glance. The big difference is that, it looks like granite on first glance. The difference is that there's no quartz in it. So unlike granite, which is full of quartz and feldspar and hornblende and muscovite and biotite, this isn't the case there. There's a lot of orthoclase. You can see that in it, and there's the mineral that makes it glow is sodalite. So what happens is when you hit it with that long wave UV light, the electrons in the sodalite get all excited and they bring back that orange signature that goes with that particular mineral. Um, so that's what's cool about it. If you're the fun thing about a Yooperlite is that it just looks like any rock. Like
Mhm.
when you look at them, they're like, oh look, it's a white rock with that looks kind of salt and peppery. But then when you hit it with the and it pops orange. It's really cool. You're just like,
Mhm.
oh, that's
And the thing,
quite.
and the thing is too is like when you're looking at the rocks in the daylight, you're like, all of these have the potential to be Yooperlites because they're all like, it's just a rock. But then you realize, boy, it is not. They are
It's
not
more than
all.
just a rock.
Yeah, exactly. So.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what it is. And and I'll talk a little bit more about, why we looked where we looked, but so when it comes to why hunt Uperlites, I don't know how to answer that other than I think it's fun because it's fun. And one of the things I found out figured out is that it's very much a meditation for me. That night that we went out at 4, we hit the beach about 4 o'clock in the morning when it was so silent and there was nobody out there except the two of us. That
Mhm.
I found myself as I was looking for my Yooper lights and concentrating on that, just concentrating on listening to the water and noticing the fog and feeling, there was lightning down back in the distance and seeing how the sky changed as, we were getting closer to sunrise. It was just this weird sort of, I'm like, I have transcended somehow. um, as far as addictions go, there are worse ones. The thing is, once you get a Uperlite in your hands, you're gonna like more. It's
Mhm.
so that the feeling that you get when you nail one is like you get super excited, like kind of lose your mind a little bit because you're like, oh, there's
I
one,
did it. I did
there's
it.
one. It's the dumbest thing, but it's also really fun because there are so many rocks on a beach. And
Hmm.
you do have to kind of take your time and kind of, sometimes you get lucky and you nail one right away, but like I found my best sample was this little tiny nugget and I found it in the water. And it's like it's just dark, 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 and all of a sudden, pow, and you're like, is that so you dig and and there it is, and yeah, so it's and that feeling that you get when you get one is addictive. Just so you know that if you can't help it. It's a great way to experience a beach that's really different. The beach at 4 o'clock in the morning is very different than a beach at noon. It's
Hmm.
it's a whole different environment. The cool thing is you're seeing when you hit things with that UV light, you're seeing all the little critters that live within those rocks, the spiders, the bugs, the little moths, everything that lives in there. And it's a whole different ecosystem all of a sudden when you hit it with that UV light.
Toads.
Nancy, go ahead, Ann.
Oh, toads. You'll find toads.
Toads. Yep. And you get to see the different colors, the color signatures that these little organic things toss back. There's blues, there's greens, there's reds, and it really is interesting. Nancy Garman says it's very exciting. The next challenge is to determine what you do with them later, as they have to be shown in black light in order to appreciate them. That is very true. That's very true. One of the things that I have found myself doing is just kind of planting them all over my yard, so that I know they're there. And it's this, I'm like, so if people want to come practice, they can come practice in my yard. Actually, what I discovered I have some like granite countertops in my bathroom, both of my bathrooms. My guest bathroom has Yooperlite in it. Dude.
There you go.
Yeah, it hones your powers of observation because there are lots of things. The thing is, when you are looking on the beach, there's lots of different UV signatures that come back at you, so that you're observing different things and learning what looks like a Yooperlite but isn't quite a Yooperlite because it's it's a feldspar, something like that. It forces you to be very aware of your surroundings. I know that may sound odd, but it's easy to get locked in, but you have to kind of take a step back because you are on a beach in a hostile area in the middle of the night, and you do need to kind of keep it up and look around you. Yeah, lots of white spiders. Yes, whites and blues. I think I saw 3 different colors of spiders. White, blue, and green are some of the spider signatures that I saw coming at me. There are some big fucking spiders on that beach, okay? Big fucking spiders.
I didn't see really any spiders because the toads were around me and they were eating the spiders. So that's why it's a good thing to have toads as your familiar. So
yeah, big ass spiders on that beach. Anyway, and I do not really like spiders, but Anyway, you can hunt in a lot of different places. Hence the name Yooperlite. Everybody, of course, is like, I can only hunt on a beach in the Upper Peninsula. That is untrue. Yooperlites can be found in any and all of the Great Lakes. They can be found apparently in my bathroom, and they can be found in the river rock. One of the best samples I found was in my front yard. So,
yeah. Also, I found one too in Jenny's front yard. That's where I practiced.
Yes. So if you have river rock in your front yard, take your UV light out there and go see what you see. Yeah, you never know. Yeah. And I did. I lost my shit when I found the one in my front yard because that was the first one I found. I was outside testing my light and I found the one near one of the shrub in my front yard and I lost my shit for about 60 seconds. I was very excited. Anyway. All right. So where we hunted and why? We chose the Upper Peninsula of Michigan because I love the Upper Peninsula, and you do have I would say a little bit higher chance of finding Yooperlite rock in more kind of eastern locales in the state. So we chose the public beach at Grand Marais, Michigan, and we chose it for a couple of things. Number one, Nancy's yes, excellent. We chose that beach because we're familiar with it. Number one. Number two, it's a small beach with a low degree of losing your car. It's a flat beach with nothing to climb. We did some Yooperlite hunting on the rocky beach that is just south of Marquette, and that is treacherous and not a great hunting area. Once you start going west of Munising, Michigan, the beach is really based on the way the glaciers moved Canadian Shield rock. It's mostly the way that area around Marquette kind of curves. You get a lot of sandy beach there, not a ton of rock. So that rock gets deposited in like Munising, Grand Marais, Whitefish Point. Those are the areas that are probably some of the best places to go and look. But like I said, we chose Grand Marais because we've been to that beach before. It's easy to access. It's a great beach for hunting. It depends on how much you want to be around people, that sort of thing. All right, next question. The equipment that we used. And you want to talk about that one a little bit?
Sure. Yooperlite Yooperlite's Convoy C8 long wave 365 UV flashlight with holder and extra batteries. That's what Jenny used. I used a little bit smaller version of that, but again, with extra batteries, rechargeable batteries. That's the one I used. They both worked extremely well. Jenny and I both found a lot of Yooper. Well, we both found more than our share of Yooperlites. Let's just say Jenny found a lot. She found a lot more smaller ones, and I found some really big ones. It was awesome. So, let's see. Jenny got us a set of Buddy B 30-inch wood-handled children's level head rakes. So these are just like the little rakes. Where'd you find them at Menards?
Menards, man. Yep.
And it's
out in the rake section.
Yeah, it's just a good way. It's a good way to reach like Yooperlites that you might find in the water close to shore, or a way to rake up and look underneath, because it's a beach. There's rocks on top and there's rocks underneath those rocks. So it's a good way to, you might get a hint or a glow or something. It's a good way to dig things out. I used mine for that a lot. You want a headlamp, and you won't have your headlamp on while you're searching, but because you want to give your UV flashlight as much as possible. You don't want it to compete with a light, but you want that headlamp. So if you're trying to get to other parts of the beach or get back to your car or find who you're with, it's just a really good way to light everything up or figure out where you are. So you want that on you all the time. You want to be able to have a light source on you all the time. You want a backpack. You might.
I'm gonna interrupt you real quick. Nancy is still with us. She's saying that flashlight makes all the difference if you want to do more hunting more often. Putting the money into a good one is worth it. That is 100% true. 100% true. That first night we were on the beach in Marquette, and so full disclosure, I dropped about $100 on my Yooperlite package, and that included flashlight, that included the charger, that included the little carrying case, the Velcro carrying case that I strapped to my bag. So I dropped a decent amount of money on my flashlight. But this guy was on the beach with his kid, and he was having a lot of trouble, seeing anything. And so he came over and just kind of was asking me what I was finding, and I was showing him my light. He's like, "Damn, that makes a big difference." I'm like, "Yeah," because he had gotten like a $2 light off of Temu or something like that, and yeah, that thing wasn't worth a shit. So yes, Nancy, you are correct. Spend money on a good light. So
Yeah, it
Go
really.
ahead, Ann, sorry.
If you're going to be out there in the middle of the night and you want to have some success, have a good flashlight. If you don't have a good flashlight, you're not going to have any success, and you're going to think that there's no Yooperlites out there, and that's not true. Of course, have a backpack. You want to. It's a good way to store the Yooperlites you find, and you'll notice that. We had our homemade Yooper shoots, and if you watch the Yooperlite Hunting 101 with Eric, what was his name?
Rintamaki.
Yeah. He makes one of these things, and that way you don't have to take your backpack off every time you find a Yooperlite. You just put it down the chute, and the chute ends in a plastic bag, and boom, you just collect all your Yooperlites. Also, you might need to keep some things with the extra bug spray. You're going to want to wear layers, so maybe you're taking layers off. It's just a good thing to have. Glow sticks are essential. You want to make sure that you use glow sticks to light your way back to your car, and keep glow sticks on your body so that you can find who you're hunting with. Bug net and bug spray. Your Yooperlites will attract bugs. You want to have rain boots. They keep sand out and water out as well. Cross body bag. Jenny used a cross body bag. I used my pockets, but either one are an excellent way to keep things in your close by. Like I have an extra flashlight with me. I had an extra Yooper light rock with me so I could, compare and contrast. I'm big on having at least 3 sources of light on you at all times in case one burns out. You should always have at least 3 sources of light on you.
Cool. Nancy, I don't know who these kids were that were taking your Yooperlites as you were finding them, but that's why you need the rake to beat the kids that take your stuff. Okay.
Exactly. Get your own Yooperlites.
This is the website for your official Yooperlite stuff. Yeah, and when you are looking to do your shopping, you should absolutely be shopping from the Yooperlite guy. That's Eric Rintamaki, because this is kind of how this dude makes his living. So support him. He's got and like I said, the dude, he's sort of the godfather of Yooperlite. So, and I trust him as far as A, how to hunt, and B, what to hunt with. That's for sure. So agreed, Nancy. Agreed. Yeah. I named it a Yooper shoot because I couldn't help it. It just sounds great. Yooper shoot, which, also sounds kind of gross, but whatever. But I had the most fun with that. And so what I did is, if you're looking at the Yooper, so that thing with all the pink tape on it, what I did is, if you go to Menards and you go to the section where you find like downspouts, they have these little plastic little accordion things, and they're like $2 each. And so what I did is, but they're not long. They weren't quite long enough to stick out of the bag. So I just took two and I taped them together. I used duct tape, and also the duct tape around the edges keeps you, because they're a little bit sharp on the end. So I did that just to kind of keep it so you wouldn't cut yourself. So it just made it much more comfortable to get, when you're handling it, you're not scraping anything. So yeah, homemade Yooper shoot, $4. There you go.
There you go.
And frankly, I love doing crap like that because it's fun. So, all right. And take us through the Yooperlite trip do's.
Find accommodations close to where you will hunt. Jenny and I, this was kind of we didn't make sometimes up in the Upper Peninsula, you need to make accommodation plans 3 to 6 months in advance. We did not. So we couldn't stay in Grand Marais. We had to end up staying in Marquette, which was 100 miles from where we were hunting. So 2 nights in a row. Yeah, 2 nights in a row. We drove 100 miles one way to to go Yooperlite hunting. So if you can stay close to where you are hunting, it will make your life easier and it's safer. Scout the beach during the daylight hours. We were looking for one beach that we thought we wanted to hunt at, but the road was not very. It was a dirt road. It wasn't great. We weren't familiar with the area, and we decided, we don't want to come back here at midnight to hunt here. And so we wouldn't have known that if we hadn't gone to scout beaches during the day. Use good equipment, as we just said. Wear waterproof boots. They will keep the sand out. Go with somebody. Jenny and I went together. Most people that we saw one night were in groups of 2 to 5 or 6 or 7. So yeah, go with somebody. It's safer. Bring a sample. Yeah, it is. Bring a sample of Yooperlite, because if you're not sure what you're looking for, but you have a sample that you can check, you'd be like, okay, that's what I'm looking for. Tell someone or 3 people where and when you will be hunting. This is a lot like when people who do cave exploring, it's the same thing. Tell 3 people where you're going, what time you're going to be there, and what time you're done. And then contact them when you are all finished so they know that you are safe. Check the weather more than once, especially if you're on one of the Great Lakes. Weather can change very quickly. Jenny and I were on our second night when we were in Grand Marais, our first night in Grand Marais, but our second night hunting. We were out hunting very early in the morning and fog rolled in. It's like, hey, you want to know that's going to happen. We knew that there was thunderstorms, but they were way to the south of us. We could still see the lightning from them. So you want to know, you don't want to be stuck out there in a big storm. Make yourself as self-contained as possible. That's why it's good to have a backpack and a crossbody bag and pockets. You don't want to have to keep going back and forth to your car. You want everything to be with you. Bring water. You might get thirsty. Bring rain gear. It might rain. Consider a hunt in the spring just after the snow melts, because the gales of winter will kick up some serious rocks. And, in the Lower Peninsula, you could probably get away with that in maybe even March or April. But in the Upper Peninsula, you might have to wait more towards May, depending on what the weather is like, early May. But yeah, that's a great time to go. So Yooper trip do's. Do these things.
Fresh rocks.
Fresh rocks. Yooperlite don'ts. Don't believe any beach is played out. One of the things that Jenny and I were kind of considering not going to Grand Marais public beach, because we knew there was a lot of people always looking for Yooperlites there. But we found some great Yooperlite examples because, one, we had good equipment so we could find it. And there were so many people that had cheap lights. They were just spraying blue light everywhere. And then another thing was that they didn't have their technique down. They were practically running up and down the beach, just waving their light. So of course they weren't finding anything. They didn't have a good light. They didn't have good technique. But Jenny and I were finding rocks right and left. There were people around us who could not find, people like within 20 feet of us who were not finding anything. And Jenny and I were finding stuff right and left because we had good technique and we had good equipment. So never believe a beach is played out just because it's popular. There will be rocks around. There will be Yooperlites. You just have to take the time to find them. don't wear flip-flops or sandals. On our first night when we were in Marquette, the guy that was there near us with his kid was wearing flip-flops. We were on a beach that had it was on a slope. Oh man, you were just begging to like fall down that slope and skin everything up. And one of the things that saved us was, one, we weren't afraid to travel on our butts, and two, we had good shoes, so they had grip. I was watching this guy slide all over the place. The chance of cutting his feet was pretty high. That's another thing, is like, there's glass on the beach sometimes. There's sharp things. So you want to make sure you protect your feet, because if you hurt your feet, you're going to have a hard time getting back to your car. And of course, don't be a dick on the beach. And this counts for any time on the beach. If somebody else is hunting in a place, don't hunt that place. Don't be near them hunting. They've got their area. If somebody is, you don't want to be too loud. You don't want to be obnoxious. You don't want to have your dog around. Your dog isn't going to be enjoying this activity. So just be courteous. What do you want? What kind of experience do you want to have? And try to make sure that you help provide that experience to other people. So these are things you don't want to do.
Good job, Ann.
Mm-hmm.
Good job. I'll take us through the well-earned advice from Yooperlite hunters.
Exactly.
Now that we've been out for real, I feel like we're experts now.
Exactly. Exactly.
Again, Yooperlites can be found all over the Great Lakes. You don't have to limit yourself to just the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. You can go to pretty much any shore of the Great Lakes, and like I said, wherever you find rocks, like I said, I found a bunch just in my river rocks. So there you go, Harry. Work thoroughly. So one of the things that we did is we worked a small area pretty thoroughly. So especially that last night, but by night 3, we had kind of gotten our technique down a little bit, and so the area that we worked was probably not more than 100 feet from one end to the other. And it was just a matter of taking your time, doing it again, using your rake to upend stuff. And we ended up moving off of the water line. That was one of the big things that we did. If you're going to be in the area, support a local business. A friendly conversation can lead to some good tips. Be patient, because, again, this is kind of a form of meditation. Mark your way back with glow sticks. It's seriously dark. Even a familiar beach in it is kind of a mystery at night. And we've kind of, you don't think it is, but it is, because, again, we don't really experience true dark on a daily basis. True dark is something that we experience kind of rarely. And so you don't realize that, and you think and the thing about a light is that a light is not as powerful as you think it's going to be when it's genuinely dark out. So just keep those things in mind. Wear a glow stick on yourself. So both Ann and I had glow sticks on we're hanging off our backpacks. That way we could spot each other pretty easily on the beach. And that was huge, because, again, if it's truly dark, and that, like, the Grand Marais Beach is not lit up at night, there's no lights out there. So it was nice to be able to look up and look over. And really, Ann and I didn't go much beyond 50 feet of each other in one direction or another. But it was nice to be able just to look up and spot that glow stick and be like, Ann's over there, And so that's a big deal. Practice ahead of time. That was one of the things. That was one of the reasons I went out and started, dinking around in my river rock. Is that I just wanted to be able to practice, and I practiced with all of my equipment on, because I knew I was going to be out in the middle of the night. I knew it was going to be dark, so I wanted to make sure that everything that I wanted to be able to access, be it extra batteries or an extra flashlight or my water or whatever, that it was someplace where I knew, and I worked really hard to make sure I had those things in place and knew exactly where they were in my pack. So that was part of what the practice was for. What time of day that you pick, or what time of night, I should say, depends on what you are. We had 2 very different experiences. So, and I'm basically counting just our time on our Grand Marais Beach. Like I said, we went out so that we hit the beach at 4 o'clock in the morning, and we picked for about 2 hours. So we picked basically from 4 to 6 a.m. And that was a really interesting experience, because we did not encounter a single soul when we were out there. Nobody. And so that was amazing. So that is a more solitary and quiet experience, which I really loved. I would probably do that again. When we did the next night, what we did is we hit the beach maybe 15 minutes before sunset, and it was a completely different experience. The beach was full of people. It was noisy. There were people up with fires. There was kids. There was dogs. There was the whole schmear. Um, which wasn't terrible. It's just much more social. And then we were there for probably about 2.5 hours. And by the time we left, the beach was much emptier, but there was still, I don't know, 60 people on that beach, picking, having a fire, that sort of thing. So if you're looking for something that's a little more social, then, pick, sunset to say midnight. If you're looking for something more solitary, I would say midnight to sunrise, somewhere in there. Um, uh, be friendly with the other people. Like I ended up kind of just having conversations with people as they would walk by or were curious about something and answer questions, which is fine. Um, you again, remember, you guys, you might be in a place without cell service. That's why it's really a big deal to be with somebody. And if you want to be, if you're not super confident in your ability to get yourself around, again, maybe you want to pick at a time where there's going to be more people on the beach. That there is comfort in that. That's for sure. Let's see. Have cash, wear clothes with pockets, and I all the shorts. I had all the shorts with pockets, and dress in layers. I chose so the boots that I was wearing. I chose a rain boot that was about calf high, just above the calf. I had long socks to go with it, and my shorts. So I didn't wear long pants for this hunt because I knew it was going to be warm all the nights. We were in the 70s all the nights that we were picking, so it was fairly warm. I did have a long sleeve shirt that I wore mainly just for bug mediation than anything remediation because it was not super buggy, but definitely buggy enough. So those are pieces of advice that maybe you want to do. So we spend when you're not Yooperlite hunting, because Yooperlite hunting is a nighttime activity. So if you want some daylight fun things to do, and why don't you go ahead and take the left side of the list? I'll take the right side of the list.
Okay. Things that you can do in the Upper Peninsula or Marquette or wherever you happen to be Yooperlite hunting. You can eat. Jenny and I did a lot of eating. Drink
so
coffee.
Much eating.
Marquette specifically, actually Munising too. They have some great coffee places. Marquette's a university town, so there's like on 3rd Street there was like 5 coffee places where you can sit and just chill. It's a great place to do that. Yeah, drink some good coffee. You can drink beer or have cocktails. Marquette has, let's see, they have Ordok, which is a brew pub. They have Black Rock, which is a brew pub. They have Barrel and Beam, which is a brew pub. It's a tap room. I think all 3 of those are actually tap rooms. They're not technically pubs. The Veerling is a brew pub. So that's like 4 places right there where you can go get some beer, or you can have cocktails, cocktails, mocktails. If you don't want to, have too much liquor, you can sit out places and look at the lake while you drink some beautiful drinks. You can go for walks, hikes. Marquette has a beautiful trail system, a trail that runs right along Lake Superior. It is gorgeous, bike friendly, walk friendly, run friendly. A number of these small towns, and including Marquette, have great farmers markets. You can bike, you can rent a bike. You don't even have to take your bike. You can rent a bike. You can bike on the trail. You can do extreme biking and bike up, Sugarloaf Mountain. There's lots of fun shopping, if you want to get your shop on and get yourself some souvenirs. Spend time on the beach. Marquette has some gorgeous sandy beaches. Munising, Munising, actually, I'm trying to think, it's just before you get to the National Lakeshore. They have a nice sandy beach. Grand Marais, of course, has a sandy beach. Whitefish Bay has a beautiful beach. So there's lots of gorgeous beaches there if you want to spend some beach time. The Great Lakes Shipwreck Museum at Whitefish Point, Jenny and I have been there, which is also supposed to be a very good Yooperlite hunting area. We didn't get all the way. That was a lot farther away from where we were staying, so we didn't stay there. But we didn't go there to Yooperlite hunt. But the museum is amazing, and that's just a gorgeous area. They also have a lot of birding that you can do there. Hike so many great trails. I mean, you could just go to the National Lakeshore and it's all trails. It's all beautiful trails. You can kayak or paddleboard, but check the weather and the lake conditions ahead of time. And if you're going to kayak or paddleboard, you want to stay close to shore. Some people make the mistake of going too far out, and they keep the Coast Guard busy trying to rescue people because, those little plastic kayaks that you get at sporting goods stores, not a great thing to have on the Lake Superior. You want one that's specifically like actually a sea kayak. So honestly, from a person who's seen people have to get rescued off a plastic kayak, man, if you don't have a sea kayak and know how to use it, just stay off the Great Lakes, any of the Great Lakes, because all you're going to do is make the Coast Guard's job a lot more difficult. So, but you can do it. Somebody will rent you the equipment. I'm just giving you a friendly warning.
Amber French is with us. Amber, I don't know what brat means. I'm not that cool.
I'm not that cool, but I'm glad to hear it is. I understand it's a good thing.
Okay, good. So yeah, Amber, if you're still with us, tell me what that means, please and thank you. Okay, good.
Exactly. It's like what they're calling Kamala. She's brat.
She's brat.
And that's a good thing, apparently.
It's a good thing, but I don't know what's good about it. So
I don't know what it means. So
enlighten us.
I need context, please. I need
a
young millennial or Generation Z to help me. Help me, millennials. You're my only hope. Okay.
Exactly. All right, Jenny, please continue.
Other things that you can do between huntings of Yooperlites, you can take a nap. We did some seriously hard napping, especially the turnaround where we did because we were up and out the door at like 2 a.m. to get to our 4 a.m. Picking, and then we turned right back around that night and did the same thing. So yeah, that was tiring. So napping, museuming, we had some creative time. You can, like I said, spread your local tourist dollars. We went to that one cool bookstore. What's the name of that bookstore?
Oh, it's called Snowbound.
Snowbound. Okay, yeah, Snowbound Books. Watch for big ships. Eat ice cream. And not just any ice cream. You can have hot fudge ice cream cake at one of the few remaining big boys in the state of Michigan. And the nice girl who you give extra tip money to will bring you extra hot fudge and it's great. I forgot how much. And you know what? We were both thinking as we went to Big Boy to have hot fudge ice cream cake that maybe it would be skimpy because, everything's skimpy now because of, what do they call it? Shrinkflation. But no, it is just as PHAT, pretty hot and tempting as it has always been.
It was amazing.
One of the highlights for me because it was so good.
It was, I was like, I couldn't remember the last time I went to a Big Boy and got a hot fudge ice cream cake because I thought it would always be there. But it turns out now all the Big Boys are closing. I was like, oh my gosh, I don't even remember the last time I had it. So Jenny and I specifically, I'm like, Jenny, that Big Boy is still open. So we went, we got hot fudge ice cream cake. And I'm like, it may be the last hot fudge ice cream cake I ever get because I'm not getting any younger. But I was like, this is the perfect one to remember. So I will always remember this hot fudge ice cream cake from the Big Boy.
Yeah, if that's my last one, I'm going to be okay with that. Yeah. All right. So here we go. Amber, thank you. Here is AI Google's definition of brat. Brat summer is a Gen Z phrase that originated from the pop star Charlie XCX's album Brat and encourages people to embrace themselves and their imperfections while enjoying life. The term can have multiple meanings, but it generally involves being bold, taking risks, and having fun despite struggles. Brat. Amber French, you're our go-to millennial now. In fact, you are absolutely our millennial expert. Moving forward, you and Adam are our millennial experts. Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. Okay. Yes. Nancy's with us. The Brat Summer movement encourages being bold, taking risks, embracing. Yes. The core focus spread is edgy, imperfect, and confident, as opposed to polished, poised, and clean cut. Well, I don't know which one because I feel like I'm all of that. I'm clean cut and poised, and I'm also imperfect and confident. Okay, clean cut. That's a stretch. I know, but I just because I have short hair and I shaved my legs that one time. Okay. Okay, so yeah, you that is correct, Nancy. That's how I've heard the term used, but I never really got around to figuring out what that meant. So, all right, I feel so much smarter now. See, this is where you go to learn things about stuff. And Anne, you and I just learned things about stuff.
We sure did. We sure did.
Now I can use doing this.
Now I can use the term brat with confidence.
Everything is brat now. Watch out. So
yeah.
All right. So anyway, I left off on ice cream cake. I got on an ice cream cake tangent because that's one of my favorite things. The Big Boy's hot fudge ice cream cake has always been one of my favorite things. And the fact that they still have a Big Boy in Marquette and I was able to enjoy that on this vacation really did make me super happy. Look at Amber. Amber French, keeping it real. The brother sisters are brat for sure.
Ooh, for sure. For sure.
I fight for myself again.
I'm definitely bold and messy. Definitely bold and messy.
I will embrace my imperfections. The few that there are. Right, sorry. Anyway, what other things? You can have a whitefish picnic. We did that on Wednesday. There's a whitefish vendor right there right next to the lake trail. We got whitefish, and it was good.
So
It was
delicious.
whitefish. The fries that came with it were amazing. And then we just drove out to Presque Isle Point and used their picnic tables. And there in the shade, it was really amazing. Again, Presque Isle and the Black Rocks are super fun. Even though it was almost impossible. There were so many people out there last week. Everybody was black rocking. I get it. It's awesome. Picture Rock National Lakeshores in the UP, Tequanimon Falls, Pine Stump Junction, which we made fun of it a little bit, Ann, but I got to tell you, that place is tight.
It was tight. I was like, that place was, Jenny and I stopped there and it was like, they have a lot of great beer on tap. They have a very solid, small bar, but solid.
Very solid.
And the food was good. They only take cash though. That's why I said, make sure you have cash because it's not unusual in Marquette to find places that are cash only. So make sure you have cash. But yeah, it was great. We had been driving a long time and it was like, they had the coldest beer around and they did because there was no other beer around.
Thank you, Sam Adamsberger. Excellent point.
And so it was great. I loved it. Our waitress was like on the ball. So it's one of those types of waitresses that has everything you need already before you ask. So yeah, it was great. I loved it.
Great experience. Well, so because here's the thing, Eric Rintamaki actually has Yooperlite tours that he runs. They're expensive. They're $300 a pop. And what he does is he meets you at Pine Stump Junction. You get for your $300. You get a free dinner from anything on the menu there at the little restaurant, which is good because honestly, I think the food there was quite tasty, and they have a lovely menu. And then he takes you in a side-by-side out to the beach, and you do a 4-hour hunting with him. And I got to tell you, I think I might save up my ducats this year and do that next summer because it's like, why not hunt with the man himself? And I just think it would be a really interesting experience because he's got access to beaches that maybe most people aren't getting to. So,
well, he's like several generations in that area, in the Newberry area. So, yeah, I just I think if that would be my next level. I'm like, I would love to do that with somebody who could take me to a beach that I haven't been to, and show me what I'm missing, show me what I'm not, what I'm missing. Because I felt like by the end of our little trip, I felt like I was in much better shape as a Yooperlite hunter. But hey, he's the godfather of the Yooperlite.
Well, it's not just that. He got his start agate hunting. That's where he and his brother discovered that this could be a thing because he had started using UV light in order to find agates, and he ended up, discovering this particular rock instead. And so I'm just, again, I don't know what I don't know when it comes to this level of rock hunting and what you're doing. And yes, I actually was poking around his Facebook page before we came out there, and basically every post on his Facebook page is lions. And I appreciate that as a lifelong lifelong and long suffering Lions fan. I totally get that. But yeah, again, I'm like, I will never abandon my team ever. Let's see. So real quick, we'll finish up this list of things that you could be doing instead of while you're waiting for sunset to Yooperlite hunt. Lock and Land Sculpture Park. So, and for some reason, I keep not getting to this, and I really want to get to this sculpture park, and I keep not getting there. Ooh, really, Nancy? He thinks he also found a new type of rock that he wants to call green lightning. Take me there. Take me there.
No kidding.
Yeah, that's tight. I want to hunt that. Yeah, sorry, I'm obsessed. Sorry, now I'm having a meltdown. Okay, sorry. My bad. All right. So yeah, these are all things that you could be doing if you're not Yooperlite hunting or while you're taking a break. Nancy says we visited with him and he showed us. Very cool. That's awesome. So yeah, that would be something that I would be super interested in doing more, getting to know him, and just actually, Ann, we should probably get him on the show. So.
Oh my gosh, Jenny Brothers, we totally should.
Just saying.
Just saying.
I'm not saying.
Just saying.
But I'm just saying. Right on. So yeah, just a really fun thing. Like I said, it was just a really great. We weren't there very long. We were only there 3 days, but it was just super fun and super cool. These are some specific favorites while you're in that area. Just a bunch of things. Lagniappe is, if you're going to go to one thing in Marquette, go to this restaurant. It is a Cajun and Creole eatery, and it might possibly be my favorite restaurant in the state of Michigan. I didn't say it is. I said it might possibly be because there are some really great places to dine in the great state of Michigan. So, yeah. Black Rock's Brewery is my favorite brewery. The Crib Coffee House in Marquette. Donkers. If you want breakfast, go to Donkers. Presque Isle, go early. Grand Marais is amazing. Falling Rock Bookstore in Munising is amazing. Art of the Framing, which is a stationery store right in downtown Marquette. It's fabulous. The Lake Trail in Marquette, Huron Mountain Bakery. And here's the thing. So one of the things that we discovered is that Huron Mountain Bakery, not only do they have the best effing cupcakes, get the lemon blueberry and get the hostess cupcake, and then they also have a really great selection of pre-made sandwiches. So let's say you want to go for a picnic, go to Huron Mountain Bakery in the morning, get you some sandwiches, and that way, you'll have something to munch on when you're on your fun picnic. Northern Michigan University is a really lovely campus. It's a great place to walk around. Agate Cross Bed and Breakfast in Grand Marais. So let's say you want to stay in Grand Marais and Yooperlite Hunt. You know, call the Agate Cross Bed and Breakfast in Grand Marais. Stay there. Jamie and crap. I can't think of her name.
Was it Shelly?
Was it Michelle? Jamie and Michelle? I think it's Jamie and Michelle. Now I feel bad because I can't remember.
Yeah.
Lovely hosts, great accommodations, wonderful breakfast. The Nestle Down Bed and Breakfast in Marquette. I have not stayed there, but I understand it's really great.
And they have a sauna.
They have a sauna. Yes. We stayed at the Days Inn in Marquette, which is honestly, for the money, it ain't bad. It's one of the more,
I was gonna say it's clean.
Yeah.
We had it was clean. We were able to watch Olympicking, and it's a nice place. They have a full continental breakfast with waffles. If you want to stay in the hotel, and they have a pool. There you go.
Yes.
And it's dog friendly. It's pet friendly. That's another thing. Pet friendly.
Yeah. So as far as it's this time of year, accommodations are all expensive, but the Days Inn was the most reasonably priced of the places that were available, and like I said, not bad. So yeah, nothing fancy, but certainly enough for what we were there for. So good job, Days Inn. We appreciate you.
Yeah.
All right. I think that's it, Ann. I think we talked about all the stuff.
I think we did too.
We did. We did too. Well done, everybody. Thank you for spending nearly an hour with us learning things about stuff. In this case, we're learning about what you should know when you go Yooperlite hunting, or some of the things you should go when you go Yooperlite hunting. Have some fun with it. Honestly, if you're going to do one thing, buy a good light. Buy yourself a good flashlight. Like I said, the Convoy 8 lights are fabulous. So if nothing else, buy yourself a good light. Practice. Exactly. And yeah. So thank you for spending the hour with us. Remember, we want to hear from you, interact with us, watch our show, answer our poll questions, give us your questions, concerns, comments, and confessions. Still very few confessions, even though my friend Tara did give us a lot of confessions off air. She did. And they were amazing.
There's some doozies.
Indeed. Nancy Garman, thank you for sticking around with us today. We were happy to provide you with this great info. Hopefully there was some stuff that was useful to you if you're hunting. If not, we will keep working to make this stuff that you are learning meaningful and awesome to you. So very good. Again, you guys feel free to support us. Like, subscribe, follow, leave us a review, hit that bell, Spotify, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music. We want to hear from you. Share us. Tell the people in your lives. Go through each of your Facebook contacts and say, you should be following the Brother Sisters. And that's all they got to do. They don't have to do anything. Again, they don't even have to listen to us, though they should, because
they should. Because we're amazeballs. We're brats, Jenny. We're brats.
Yeah, way to bring it. Way to circle it up and bring it home, man, brothers.
I was trying, man. I'm trying.
Nicely done. All right. Please join us next week. We're going to have an encore. We did a Julia Child episode a couple summers ago. We are going to bring that episode back next week because Ann's going to be traveling. I'm going to be traveling. So we are going to do our encore to celebrate the birthday of Julia Child. Julia Child's birthday is August 15th. So next week we are going to celebrate Julia Child by kind of reviewing the documentary about her that came out a couple of years ago, and just celebrate her by eating some French cuisine.
Yeah.
We could technically kill two birds with one stone, Ann, because we're celebrating French cuisine for Julia Child and the Paris Olympics.
See, there you go.
Yeah,
there you go.
Right.
I'm gonna have a crepe. Yay!
Oh, good.
I know, right?
I might have. What will I have? Let's see. Ooh, you know what? Joe and I, we're gonna go to Meritage in St. Paul and eat French cuisine.
Jenny
That's
Brothers.
what we're doing.
I don't know why you wouldn't.
I know, right? So that means I'm gonna probably end up having far too much butter and probably some mussels and frites, or some steak frites.
Ooh, maybe I'll do that too. Mussels and frites. Ooh, that sounds so good.
Yummy. Sorry, I just got super happy. All right. So anyway, yep. So that's what we're doing next week. Encore presentation of our show on Julia Child, because she's the best. And yeah. So I'm Janice Brothers. This is my sister.
And brothers.
That's right. And we want you to go out and oops, we gotta do that. I forgot. I keep forgetting to put the music in. There it is.
There it is.
Can you still hear me?
I can still hear you, Jenny Brothers.
Okay, so that's sweet. So anyway, we want you to get out there, folks. Do something smart. Do something dumb. Do something fun. We are out of here.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.